Well, again, it's great to meet you. I'd love to begin our conversation with, we're looking at the calendar. About 4 years ago, we were wrapping our heads around this pandemic. How did you make it through it, and how did it change you?
Wow. So we can be honest and everything, right?
Oh, of course. That's the only way.
Okay. So I'm the guy who got kicked out of a lot of places. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't toe the line. I'm not okay. I don't go with the mainstream. I'm a contrarian by nature.
sure.
Okay. So when this stuff hit from a business standpoint, I remember when it first came down, I was consulting for a company. I'm not even going to mention the name, big, and they're like freaking out. And they're going to everyone get a mask, get this, get this. I'm like, and then here's the first thing, Joe. Like they gave everyone this sheet of paper that said they're an essential business and had to put it in the window of their car so they could travel, right?
Yeah,
And here's what I said. I go, you see this? This is criminal. No government gets to decide who's essential and non-essential.
right.
Okay, that right there from the very, I'm like, this is this is control. This is nothing but, and this is day one of the lockdown thing, right?
Yeah,
And from there it just progressed. And I remember the manager was came and go, well, the masks aren't bad. You get used to them. And I said, that's the problem. You
yeah,
get used to them. I go, so there, just to give you my start on this, so
yeah,
where I was like mentally, say,
sure.
okay, now I got to deal with business and all my clients' business. Like we have to get through this, right? How's this going to work? So it was tough because everyone's got to position it. I'm not saying I'm right.
Right.
I'm not saying someone else is wrong. I mean, that's I believe in liberty. Like
Yeah,
you make your own decision. But from a business standpoint, it's like, how do we weather this?
yeah,
They're closing your business down, and hundreds of thousands of businesses were lost. And it was just brutal.
yeah,
Okay, just brutal. It was saddening
yeah,
to watch this stuff happen, and it was also inspiring to see guys fight back and do it in the same way and pivot and move and try to really adjust and make this happen. And we had to do the same thing. Now I'm an online business, right? I coach online, I coach all over the country. So like, okay, so I'm not affected per se, except that all my clients are affected,
yeah.
right? So now they're going, well, I can't do this and I can't do that. And so it was tough to navigate. It was really tough to navigate. So that's kind of where I was at in the beginning.
I remember the night of the 12th, my wife was like, what's going to happen? What's going on? And I said, look, this country depends on the economy of things working in such a way, they're going to have to come up with some kind of fix. They're just going to have to. And of course, none of us could have expected what would have happened. But I mean, there had been other COVID outbreaks. There had been other potentialities that would hop the pond, but it just seemed like there was a way that this was going to get harnessed. But it was just, I remember in December of 2019, they showed a picture of Beijing on the front of like the New York Times, and there was no one down there. And I was like, oh, dude, this is not good. Like the smog was going away, no one was there. I was like, this is serious because you just don't see a major Asian city with no one there ever. It's like when New York had no one during the pandemic. It's like,
Right.
how is this even possible? So
Yeah, it's like Hollywood. It
yeah,
was like some
right.
apocalyptic movie, you know.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very bizarre. Well, let's get into the crux and the marrow of what you do every day for a living. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of third grade students. It's career day, and one of the kids says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer them?
What I do is I help businesses regain freedom, increase profit, and make impact in their business. So what that means is I want them to make a difference in what they do. I also want them not to be a slave to their own business. So a lot of people think, hey, you own a business, you got it made, you make a lot of money, you can do what you want when you want. And there's like a little tiny percentage of people who get to do that with their business. Most of them, if they don't open the door, the business doesn't start.
Yeah.
If they don't lock up the door, the same principle, right?
Yes.
So my whole thing is to help entrepreneurs, help business owners have the business serve them instead of them serving it, because most business owners are serving their business. And without them, it doesn't happen. So they become a slave. It's called escape. I call it Escape the Owner Prison.
Yeah.
That's the book I wrote, my best-selling book. Yeah. So that's what I do.
So, what did you want to be in the third grade? What was your dream?
In the third grade, wow. Trying to think. The only thing I remember from the third grade is I was beating all the fifth and sixth graders at tetherball. That's all I remember. I was the champion.
That's
Okay,
a
in third
great
grade.
game.
Yeah, so it's you gotta get way back to that. Most people don't even know what that is anymore. But I'd say a little bit after third grade, I was kind of like wanted to be a marine biologist.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, I want to swim with dolphins and do that stuff. But then I took biology and I changed my mind.
Yeah, right.
I'm not doing this. I just want to like scuba dive.
Yeah, that's
I get
it.
confused with I want to be Jacques Cousteau. I just want to cruise around and and look at coral reefs and stuff and chase
That's
fish.
it.
Yeah. So
Just have a good time. So let me
yeah.
ask you this. How did we get here? Take me back to where you were born and raised. What were the seeds of being an entrepreneur and being somebody that's helping guide the ships of all these businesses?
Yeah, it's kind of it is an interesting path. So born in Illinois, born in Waukegan, Illinois. I moved out of there, but spent most of my life in most of my young life in Illinois. Uh, Went into the Marine Corps at 17. Did that, got out. My family moved to Arizona, spent some time there. Started working when I got out of the Corps for others. And then I was like, I was telling somebody the other day, I go, I'm the employee you want to hire. Okay. I'm the best employee you'll ever have. You don't have to tell me what to do. I get things done. I take initiative. I do everything to the best of my ability. I'm always there, never late, always early. Stay when I have to. I'm great for a year.
Yeah.
And then I need to run your company. Okay. Because so I learned like, okay, there's something wrong with me. I said, I think I better work for myself because like I can do well for these people. So I started a landscape business, right? So I can do that. So I'm in Arizona and I started with the wheelbarrow and the shovel and my Jeep. And that was what I had. And I would shovel on some days 35 tons of gravel in a day by hand, move it to a backyard, spread it, do all that kind of stuff. Well, that was okay. I loved it because Joe, instead of making at the time $5-6 an hour, okay, I was making $1,000 a day
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh, this is way better. Yeah, I'm working hard. It's 100 degrees out, but I just made $1,000.
Yeah.
I like that. So
Yeah.
this is my path. And that evolved into, I started making artificial stone like you see at the zoos,
Hmm.
like where the lions are and stuff. I started making that. Then I started putting water on that. I go, wow, I can make like water features. And I started making water features around 1990 or so. And then I got rid of the fake stuff and got real rocks. And that just blossomed over the next 20 years into a major, water feature design business that I did, award-winning, internationally recognized. I became a steel sculptor at the same time. Did world-class exhibits on that kind of stuff. So that was kind of the journey, but I was doing business and I was making a lot of money because people couldn't do what I do. And that was a really upside of the business, right? But making money is actually the easiest part of having a business. Like some people don't think that, but I'm telling you, making money is easy.
Yeah.
All right. Run your business the way it needs to be run. That's hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I tend to put a lot of things off to the left of my desk that I wasn't very interested in doing because I'm an artist and I'm making things and building things and I'm making great money. And that can come back around eventually. It will. And when 0809 hit, off the cliff, everything shut down. I lost $500,000 in one day. People just canceling their contracts and just saying, we're out, we can't, we're going to sit down. And they were right. Right. If you remember back then, people were right to hold on to their money. No one knew what was going on. And I'm like, wow, it's kind of over. I said, it's been a good run, but I had nothing because that stuff that was at the left of my desk all came back to bite me. So I lost everything, house included. Had a wife, 6 small kids under 4 years old. Okay, like, oh, what are we gonna do? We don't have a house. We don't, So I kind of had to start over. So we get that figured out. Moved to Wisconsin from Illinois, and kind of started saying, okay, I got to figure out what I did wrong, because I'm really not a big fan of losing.
Yeah.
It's just the Marine in me, I guess. But and I started connecting the dots, which was a lot of. Started putting those dots together, and really understood. So I started another business and said, okay, let's do this right this time. Because one thing I learned, Joe, another one was collapsing. It was in a true epiphany. I woke up one and like, I got this fleet of vehicles and I'm world class. I'm known. I'm all this stuff. I said, but these 6 little kids I have, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care what I drive. They don't care what business I do. They don't care where we live. All they wanted was me to be around. because they attacked me when I came home. Once time kids chased me down the driveway crying as I'm leaving in my truck. I mean, do that like every day, and oh my gosh,
Yeah.
So I'm like, they don't care about that. And I realized, if I continue down this path of business first, it was everything, right? I worked 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day. I go, my kids are going to grow up thinking and knowing business is first over everything, over your family, over your faith, over everything. I said, I will destroy them for society, right? I will do a bad thing. I
Yeah.
said, I'm going to have 6 ruined kids. So that was the day I'm like, okay, everything's crashing anyways. I'm losing this. It's okay because I'm not going to repeat. I'm going to get off this train
Yeah.
and want to do it different. So that's when I, again, started connecting the dots, putting this stuff together, started the new business. Let's put this together now. Let's not do this. Let's be around because we were homeschooling our kids, or our plan was to homeschool them. None of them were up school age yet. And we've done that now. My oldest is 19 and in the Marine Corps. My youngest is 16 working, and they're all working. Things are great, but I got to be around.
Yeah.
So that was really the evolution of what it was, Joe. It was really understanding that part of the equation, and like, how can I do both? How can I balance this out? Because I'm really good, like a lot of guys, I'm really good at focused on one thing.
Yeah.
I give everything. I'm an all or nothing guy, which is
Yeah.
good and bad, right? So you can kind of get the feel of what it was. And I'll tell you one quick thing. So I think it was about 8, 9 years ago, one of my twin boys, I come home, it's kind of a hard day. I'm getting out of the truck and I'm walking up, and we got this big front yard, and he comes over and goes, Dad, come here. And he's got 2, like the little canvas fold out chairs, sitting in the middle of the yard facing each other. He goes, come over here, sit down. So I sit down, he sits on the other chair, and he's like 8. And he leans into me and he goes, so tell me how it's going. How you doing? Like that. And I'm like, here's a kid, he's like 8.
Yeah.
Like he's got it. He understands what's
Yeah.
important. And I had to learn that from him. I still choke up when I think about that. It's just one of those things where, again, and I was around,
Yeah.
but it's hard to separate the two,
Yeah.
put it together. So it was pretty cool though. But yeah, that kind of brings us to where we're at almost.
Yeah, well, I mean, kids don't have fences. Kids have a level of honesty and almost a genius sense. There's a poet that once said, "We're born geniuses and buried idiots," you
Right.
know, and there's a level of that where all the fences. So when you're that young and fertile, you get to it quick. There's nothing holding you back.
And they see everything.
Yeah,
They're
sure.
the master observers.
Yeah,
More is caught than taught, as they say.
yeah,
And I can attest, raising 6 kids, homeschooling and stuff, man, they caught a lot.
yeah, absolutely.
I didn't teach them that, but I
Yeah,
did teach them that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So who's been a hero for you, an inspiration for you in your life?
I'd say it started probably my father, because of his work ethic. Okay, now we all got issues, right? So one way or another, we all
Yeah,
got our background stuff. My dad was just a working monster, so I've been getting up since 4 a.m. since I was like 5,
yeah,
working on the golf course, doing stuff, but that was just what we did. And the man was just awesome. I
yeah,
mean, so he gave me, if nothing else, I tell people, he gave me a work ethic.
yeah,
And that work ethic means I'll never be hungry,
yeah,
no matter what. Even I lost everything, got to start from zero, I'm back.
yeah,
And I can
yeah.
attribute that to my dad and that work ethic he gave me. So that's probably number one.
So if you could meet one person alive on the planet right now that you find fascinating or interesting, whether it's in business or anything else, who would it be? Who would you love to meet and talk to?
Ooh, let's think about that. Wow. That's going to be a tough one. Let me, I tell you, I don't idolize probably anybody, but I appreciate people, right?
Yeah,
So honestly, I think I was a boxer. Okay, a very good boxer back in the day. I would actually like to meet probably Evander Holyfield.
yeah,
Okay, because I'd love to have the conversations with that guy because he's just a warrior.
yeah,
I mean, that guy's a no quit. The way he trained inspired me when I was boxing.
yeah,
He's a little bit before me at the same time. We kind of came up at the same time. And to watch that guy do everything. I mean,
yeah,
talk about coaching, bringing on a Mr. Universe to train, get him bigger, get him stronger. He's
yeah,
running quarter miles, dropping, doing 350 in the bench, a set running. I'm like, that's my guy.
yeah,
Because I love to train. I'd
Yeah.
love to. So just to kind of sit and have conversations with him would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. I still can't believe Tyson bit his ear twice. That just every time I think about Holyfield, I'm like, how did that guy do that? But he was a beast. I mean, I think he was one of the few people that put fear into Tyson's heart.
Yeah, because he wasn't afraid.
Right.
I remember it was was it Dokes? Was it Holyfield Dokes? He fought Michael Dokes, stopped him in like the seventh to eighth round. And then I think Don King was there, and Holyfield said this, and another reason why I love him. He's right to the camera. He goes, I will, before he fought Mike Tyson, I will fight Mike Tyson 25 million, winner take all. I lose, I want nothing. Do the deal.
Yeah.
That's a warrior.
Yeah.
That's a
That,
man.
yeah, for sure.
And
And
I'm
he
like,
was.
and he
Yeah.
was, and he did it.
Yeah, totally. So, what is your motivation every day? Speaking of someone like Holyfield, every day you wake up early. What is the motivation to do the work, the good work for your clients, but to also evolve as a human being?
I think, I think there's just there's a joy in helping other people. When I see what I'm able to do, how I can just help and guide my clients, I I change their lives. The work that we do together takes them from, heavily burdened, no time with their families, running the business. Again, their business is making money, but
Yeah.
there's no other freedom. And you turn that around in a year, 2 years, and all of a sudden they're doing a third of the work, making double the money. They got freedom. Their relationships are starting to be healed and brought back together and stuff like that. That's worth getting up for.
Yeah.
Because if I can help, my goal is to help 10,000 business owners
Yeah.
create that freedom, profit, and impact, right? So if you help that many, okay, you help the owner, who then part of our program is to really show them how to treat the people that work for them, right? And how to make them better as people. They take that home to their families.
Yeah.
Their families take that into the community. So I have the opportunity to affect millions of people.
Yeah.
That's a heavy charge, right?
Absolutely.
But I have that ability, and that's what I want to do. That's why I'm scaling. I want to make this happen because that's why I get up. Of course, got my family, just being an example. I'm not even going to say the inspiration, just an example. I know my daughter comes out this morning. Every morning I get to 4 o'clock. I'll make my coffee and I'll be sitting. I'll do, I read my Bible. I go to Bible study. I take that. And I'm in the dark, right? So I got that. My daughter will come out every morning. She's got to go work at 5. She gets up and she'll see me sitting there in the chair. And I start thinking, this will be a memory
Yeah.
because I've always done this. It's just
Yeah.
that routine. They say we're defined by our rituals.
Yeah.
Right. And I have a routine. Then I go to the gym at 5:30. I get a workout, come back in, start the day. We do this, right? We get in the whole day, and I just love it.
Yeah.
So I've never struggled to get out of bed. Never
Yeah.
had a snooze alarm in my life.
Yeah.
Um,
I dig it.
The
So let
saying
me,
goes, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
The saying I tell my kid, I go, snooze alarms, they're for losers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm going to say. If I ever see you hitting that,
Yeah. So, well, and that's great that you threw out a quote there because you have to give good advice to your clients. What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
a really great one. I've had a lot of good advice because I've done a lot of stupid things. But one of my favorites, okay, because a lot of people in business, they like to keep score by gross revenue. Okay. And they think, hey, I'm doing 10 million, I'm doing 20 million, I'm doing 30 million. You must be something. Wow, you're doing that much money. And the best quote I ever heard, told by a mentor of mine years ago, was revenue feeds the ego, profit feeds the family.
Yeah.
That is a take home. And that's one of the things we focus on when I coach. I go, I don't care how much you're making a year, how much you keep it. What are you doing with it?
Yeah.
What are you doing with that money? Because I was in the gross revenue guy for 20 years. And what'd that do for me?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yep.
So I live by that. I think that's a really good one. I got a lot of quotes, but that's a good one.
That is a great one. So you've had a lot of ups and downs in your professional career.
Mhm.
So professionally speaking, what are you the proudest of?
Wow, I'd say kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
This is it. To be able to take failures, successes, methods, to put all that into a package and then scale that and help other entrepreneurs. That's what I'm most proud of. Again, seeing these companies turn around. I mean, because they were going to destroy their lives because I've been there.
Yeah.
and like to correct that and just get that's what I'm most proud of.
So everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I'd say I, yeah, I'm a builder kind of innovator. Okay. I love to innovate. I like to do things a little different. I love to scale a business. I like to build a business. Um, I have learned over time to treat people differently. Okay. I was pretty hardcore in the early days. And, you know, the Marine Corps, it's you do this or, you know, it's a very rigid way of life. And
Yeah.
I allowed that attitude that came with me. And I really had to soften up those corners, you know, because I was pretty rough and I learned a different way to lead. So that's one of those things when people think about me, they're like, I like to be known as a just leader. Okay. So we do things, but I'm just about it.
Yeah.
I'm consistent.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to pick up your book, they want to hire you, learn more about you, reach out, any of the good business, where do they go?
Sharpenthespear.com.
Beautiful. Richard, this has been wonderful. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your story. I love it.
Thanks, Joe. I love being here, man. This is a lot of fun. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you. Take care.